Welcome back. At the courts, I spoke to some lawyers about their experience dealing with the Nigerian police and the Nigerian Correctional Service. They gave very interesting views and also proffered some solutions on how things could work better.
Well, it's not been palatable most of the time. Now and then you meet friendly police officers, but by and large, I would say though they are doing a difficult job and certain circumstances that I may not have time to go into now, but by and large, they really need a lot of reformation. Because the first thing on the mind of most police officers who want to deal with you is, how much am I getting out of you? That's the honest truth. First thing on their mind, what am I getting out of this? And it's unfortunate. I had a client who he facilitated somebody he knew to get a loan. Now, the police investigated that matter at, I think, area D or so. The officer there was honest and said, this is a business transaction. And the complainant, in quote, took the matter to Panti, where they got my client arrested again, locked him up, took him to court. We had a trial. When it came to cross-examination, the man ran away. But the point is that the police knew at Panti that this was a purely business transaction. But because of what they wanted to get, they took the man to court. And the man we spent close to 10 years on that matter. That's just a tip of the iceberg. So it's not palatable at all.
Well, my experience dealing with the police is indescribable because I don't know where to start from and where to end. But it is simply frustrating. As a counsel, in fact, let me just tell you, anytime I have a client of mine arrested by the police, I try as much as possible maybe to send a junior, because I know that when you go there, you have to reduce yourself to the base level as if you are not a human being, because no matter what, you know something is right, but when you see people talking to you and they're right stuck like that in your face, that look, there's nothing you can do. So it's really demeaning and demoralizing. So in most cases, I just simply avoid the place, because there's no way you can go to the place and talk your way out without doing what is not right. And what is not right is you have to give them money. Even if your client is right, I mean, from head to toe, and they know it. They know it, but they simply want to extort money from you. They can even tell you, yes, we know it is right, but I mean, there's nothing we can do, but you just have to do this. And when the police picks you up, you simply have to tell you, well, you have to secure the bail. So people struggle to go and join the police force. When you get there, do your job, for God's sake. That is the problem. Now, if you continue to prove, okay, they don't have enough money, who has enough money? It is all over. It's a vicious circle. The only thing is that, what I see is that if only these people can have a feeling that these other people we are dealing with, they are human beings, then you now use your position to extort money, to blackmail. That is the only problem is that we can search our minds and decide that, okay, as far as I'm concerned, as a policeman, I will do what is right. That is where I think it will start from.
Well, the experience has been sordid, has been sour, because what we have, despite even the enactment of the Application of Criminal Justice Act, is still that rob my back and rob your back system within the police. And even despite the enactment of the Nigerian Correctional Services Act, there is no fundamental reforms in the Nigerian Correctional Services. So the expose by Fayose has opened the Pandora box about the state of administration of criminal justice. And the solution lies majorly in, number one, the application of the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act in terms of visits to regular visits by even the magistrates as pronounced by that act, and even by the bar, by the Nigerian Bar Association, to those cells to investigate and see the state of those cells. As we speak, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, I can speak for free that from our own experience, has returned to its days of extrajudicial killings and wanton violation of human rights that we used to see before some of us started the NSAS movement. So the NCJA is important. Then coming to the Nigerian Correctional Services Act, now that has just been passed into law, but the institutions, the enabling machinery for the commencement of that act is not yet in place, and that's what we are calling for in that respect. That is the solution to the long-term problems that we are seeing both within the Nigerian police force and in Nigerian correctional services.
On the home stretch, let's bring you a recap of some of the top stories from the courtrooms.
We'll begin with the report that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has reviewed the bail conditions earlier granted to the publisher of Sahara reporters Omoyele Sowore. In reviewing the bail conditions, Justice Ijoma Ojukwu held that the court has a right to grant bail and may review same if necessary. She set aside the 50 million naira security deposit by one of the sureties and also reduced the 50 million naira bail of the second defendant, Mr. Bakare. On October 4, the court had granted bail to Sowore in the sum of 100 million naira with two sureties in like sum. A judge also ordered him to deposit the sum of 50 million naira in the account of the court as security. She granted bail to the second defendant in the sum of 50 million naira with one surety. The defendant's lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, has described the bail conditions as stringent. Still in Abuja, the Federal High Court has ordered the former chairman of the Pension Reform Task Team, Abdul Rashid Maina, to be remanded in prison custody. The presiding judge, Justice Okonabang, also ordered the prison service to ensure Maina is given access to his lawyers. The case was then adjourned to October 30 for trial without fail. According to the judge, the trial will be from day to day, as no frivolous application for adjournment shall be entertained in the course of the trial. Maina was also given 4 days to prepare his defense. The EFCC had arraigned Maina alongside his son. The arraignment follows the initial arrest of Maina and his son on September 30, 2019 at an Abuja hotel by the Department of State Services, DSS. They were subsequently handed to the EFCC on October the 2nd for further investigation and prosecution on allegations of fraud and money laundering to the tune of 2.1 billion naira. In Lagos, the trial of the former governor of Ekiti State, Fayose, has resumed at the Federal High Court. 4 prosecution witnesses successfully testified on 3 separate days before the court in relation to a sum of 1.2 billion naira, which was moved to Zenith Bank in Akure on behalf of the former governor. The money was allegedly brought into the state in 2014 for the purpose of funding the governorship ambition of Mr. Fayose. Proceedings were, however, stalled on Friday as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission accused the former governor of threatening and compromising one of its prosecution witnesses, Adewale Aladegbola, the bullion van driver with Zenith Bank at Ado-Ekiti branch. The prosecutor said as a result of the alleged threat and compromise, the witness turned around in his testimony to give a different evidence from what he had written in his statement at the EFCC office during investigation. The EFCC therefore sought to substitute the witness. But the defense lawyers contended that the prosecution did not have the liberty to change a witness just because such a witness failed to give evidence favorable to them. Following the heated arguments between the lawyers, Justice Chukwuje Kwaneke adjourned till November the 28th, 2018 for ruling. And we round up with the report that the trial of music artist Aziz Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, on an 11-count charge of conspiracy, possession of counterfeit cards and fraud has commenced with the testimony of the first prosecution witness, Nuru Buhari. Mr. Buhari, a forensic expert with the EFCC, told Justice Nicholas Owibo of the Federal High Court, Lagos, that various stolen credit card information were retrieved from the musician's laptop. Apart from the stolen credit cards information, website visit history recovered from the device showed that the top 5 most visited sites dealt with buying and selling stolen credit cards information. Mr. Buhari also informed the court that suspicious apps that are mostly used by people with shady deals on the internet were found on the laptop. Mr. Buhari says an analysis of the administrator account on the laptop revealed that the admin is one Naira Marley and the account was connected to his iCloud account.
And that's our program this week. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to catch the repeat on air or watch via our YouTube channel. I'm Shola Shieli. See you next week.